Okay, I decided to do a worst list. These are always my least favorite videos to make, and then inevitably they end up being the most popular videos on the channel. And honestly, I think 2020 was a really strong year for mainstream country music. You had some neo-traditional sounds right alongside the crappy R&B light pop country sounds. Plus, people got to hear great songwriting this year, not just on big hits on the radio, and I think there were some great songs there, but also in quarantine live streams and on Instagram videos as big artists kind of rediscovered that inner songwriter within them. So between that and then the variety of sounds that were actually available to people, I think it was a pretty good year, but I can tell that I'm hedging right now, trying to be overly positive and avoiding the real reason we're here, which is to talk about the worst country music of 2020. Let's get into it. First up on the list is not a song or an album as much as a trend, and this was the rise of boyfriend country. Boyfriend country is basically respectful, sort of boring pop songs by well-manicured men to the flawless queens in their lives. These are the type of songs that you're gonna see Russell Dickerson or Chase Rice or Brett Young perform on The Bachelor. They're also the type of songs that your friends that only listen to pop music would say are their favorite country songs, stuff like 10,000 Hours by Dan and Shay. And they're the songs that a lot of wives and girlfriends and probably moms too around the country love, and why wouldn't they? They are incredibly reverent. And I do mean reverent in the religious sense. For the past few years, I've been noticing this rise of religious language in love songs. Stuff like God Whispered Your Name,
When God Whispered Your Name,
and Woman Amen,
Thank God for this woman, amen.
and Holy, which is short for High on Lovin' You.
Get you singing, babe, hallelujah.
Nowhere was that more true than on the full crystallization of this trend and my first official entry on this list, the song Worship You by Kane Brown.
Yeah, I might have to worship you. I might have to sing your praise.
I felt so validated when this song came out because in a video that I had made earlier this year about boyfriend country, I was articulating this exact feeling about the religiosity of this music. And then not a month later, this song Worship You debuts.
Wanna glorify every part of you so bad.
And in it, Kane Brown argues, I'm a God-fearing Christian man, but if you were a religion, then damn, I don't know what I'd do. I might have to worship you. Partly, I think this song is funny because it is theologically dubious, like to say you're a God-fearing man and then immediately say, okay, but this girl's hot, so I'd probably worship her. I will hand it to him, that is a very efficient definition of idolatry, and it's kind of like the best summation of the plight of the Israelites in the Old Testament.
And they bore him upon their shoulders and rejoiced, saying, This be our God, O Israel.
And I get it. I get that these are fantasy love song moments, and this is kind of how storybook romance works, but I just don't feel like it makes for a good song. It feels so over the top, like a healthy romantic relationship. I feel like two partners can look each other in the eye and say how they really feel about one another.
She likes a ketchup on her scrambled eggs, swears like a sailor when she shaves her legs.
But I feel like country music has been a little bit taken over by these simp anthems where these guys are just like, you're perfect, you're amazing, I worship you, God bless me with you. It's the homogeneousness, it's the umbrella of boyfriend country that I think is more annoying than any one song. Because I do appreciate that they are mostly more acoustic, they are mostly respectful. It's just like an overcorrection, I would say, from the bro era. And speaking of the bro era, it sort of had a little bit of a resurgence or maybe a dying gasp this year with my very least favorite album of the whole year, Dustin Lynch's Tullahoma.
Out there where the moon hits the water, out there where your lips in my...
Look, there's a great side to bro country, namely the energy that it brings to music, but the terrible stuff that we all hated was the repetitive, insipid songwriting that used the same like 3 or 4 images that was all about riding shotgun in a truck and headlight dancing, as if that's not awkward to just sit in your truck while a girl dances in your headlights. All that stuff went out of style for a reason because people got tired of it, but somehow it all found its way after a 5-year break onto Dustin Lynch's Tullahoma. I feel like another name for this record could be Moonlight Fetish, based on all of the references to hooking up at nighttime. Out there where the moon hits the water, out there where your lips hit mine. There's nobody I would rather be running it down with than you, sitting under this moon. Girl, have you ever slept in the back of a Chevy bed with nothing but moonlight and you sliding off that denim? I want to see your little suntan lit up in the moonlight. I'ma love you like an old country song all night long. Headlight slow dance over the moon. Those are all different lines from different songs on this record. I am not exaggerating when I would say that 90% of this album is literally just about riding around in a truck and then hooking up under the stars. There's even a song called Country Star about, you guessed it, him hooking up with a girl under the stars. And like I was saying with Boyfriend Country, there's nothing wrong with that in and of itself, but it's the overstatement of it that makes it feel like dress up, that makes it feel completely inauthentic and cringe. But if Dustin Lynch was really horny on Tullahoma, he's got nothing on my next entry on the list. That's Trash My Heart by Walker Hayes.
Do you wanna trash my heart like a hotel room?
Walker Hayes and his kind of talk singing dad rap style has made the worst list before with his song 90s Country, but this time around on Trash My Heart, he is having a nice hotel hookup. This song, which is just a straight up pop song, is nothing if not committed to this hotel theme. He tells this girl to steal his kisses like they're free shampoo. He says, you can leave before the continental breakfast. He even says,
Girl, I'm so holiday into you wanna
at one point in all these hookup metaphors, he says, let that TV drop out of the window, make him wonder what you're doing to me next door. And honestly, I feel like that's a valid question. Like, what is she doing to you that the TV is falling out the window? Like at a hotel, there's usually a balcony there. What on earth is she doing that the TV is falling out the window? If you also feel like the lyrics of this song are kind of juvenile and stupid, well, you're not alone. Walker Hayes seems to think that himself. In one of my favorite weird interview clips of the year, he basically says that this song's lyrics don't really matter.
This song is all about fun, having a good time, positive feelings, nothing but bops, good beats, and that's all I focused on really. You know, usually I'm a guy who likes to get deep, introspective, talk about emotions, etc. This song, I wanted every line to just make you smile. I didn't want anybody to get hung up on lines. I wanted you just to continue to flow with the vibe of the song.
And hey, kudos to him for being self-aware. And speaking of songs that are maybe overcommitted to their theme, I gotta mention Tim McGraw's Chevy Spaceship.
Got the Chevy spaceship with your name on it, puppy.
Tim McGraw's album Here on Earth wasn't bad, but this song Chevy Spaceship stood out in a bad way to me. It is about being on a romantic drive with your girl in the shotgun seat, and you might think, oh, Grady, we've heard that a million times in country music. But what if I told you that in this song, the Chevy went to space? In this song, good old Tim is promising to be her rocket man. He says, have you ever been this close to a shooting star? He asks, do you want to do some intergalactic lovin'? That's a real line.
We can do some intergalactic loving. Putting me in overdrive, speed of light, I'm so alive. Could you be my supernova girl?
And then you have beer cans floating, and he says, we can catch a little buzz light year. And I don't know what the legality of drinking and driving in space is, but I guess you can do it if you're in a Chevy spaceship. I don't know, I almost admire how weird this song is, but I think it's a little too weird. Still, at least it gets you to think. And that's more than can be said for the next song on the list, which is Jimmy Allen and Noah Cyrus's This Is Us.
It was just you, and now it's just me, before we found love.
This is the exact kind of booming, faceless, soft rock blandness that is also common in songs like Nobody But You by Blake Shelton and Gwen Stefani. Stuff that feels like it would be played over the credits of This Is Us, something that your grandma would enjoy. But this song, more than any other that I can think of, just really doubles down on trying to be so broad and so vague that it can appeal to anyone. I mean, the chorus starts with the line, it was just you and it was just me, and that was just the way that it used to be. And because such lyricism had to be revisited, it also ends with the line, but that was just you and that was just me. But guess what? We get this big climax.
Now this is us, this is us, this is us.
And now I'm just realizing that I said this would be a good song to play over the credits of This Is Us, which is hilarious and appropriate. I just feel like this writing with lines like, it wasn't that bad, but it could have been better. If only back then we'd have been together. I feel like it's not saying anything. It's just like you, me, we, us. It's just got like more pronouns than a college application. And to me, it ain't interesting. Also uninteresting was Thomas Rhett's super collaboration, Be a Light.
In a world full of hate, be a light.
This was like a sort of miniature version of We Are the World for country music this year, and maybe I was cynical about it. They released it after all the tours got canceled and it was meant to be positive and inspirational, but I don't know about you guys, but hearing a lot of celebrities tell me that it's gonna be my time to shine doesn't make me feel comforted or hopeful. I feel like the writers of this song went to Home Goods or something and went to the pillow section and were like, Gather is a little played out, live, laugh, love, I've heard that before, but let's use all the other platitudes in this song. In a time full of doubt, just believe. Life is a breeze, better live it. Don't hide in the dark, you were born to shine. And I know I'm being a hater right now, but I think I feel a little cynical towards this song because it felt like more of a money grab. Okay, I'm editing this now, and that's not a fair characterization to say it's a money grab. You can call it a clout grab or whatever, but all the money and proceeds from this song went to the Music Cares COVID Relief Fund to help musicians that have lost their job in the pandemic, and I feel like it would be remiss to not mention that in talking about this song. So maybe it's just cheesy but good intentioned like every other charity single. Making this video shows me that I really can't stand vagueness. I feel like when a song is very unspecific, it feels very fake. I also want to mention Keith Urban, who continued his descent into madness with The Speed of Now Part 1.
When I was with you, baby, I was Superman.
I don't know what happened to Keith Urban. I used to love Keith Urban, and then somewhere around the Ripcord era, everything started to get weird. Maybe it was his time on American Idol that taught him that all art is supposed to be like the Coronation songs on that show, just big and mass appealing and inspirational. But his music has taken on that corporate feeling that you're gonna hear cranked when you're buying a candle at Marshall's or something.
I don't know how lucky I am.
And I think part of that is that clearly this guy wants to go make pop music. I mean, there's collaborations with Nile Rodgers and Breland and Pink on this record, but he's trying to keep one foot in the country world, and that is never a good idea. I think country music is inherently a little bit smaller and more acoustic and about real life and storytelling, and pop music is about escapism. And Keith clearly wants to be this kind of global force of positivity and good music energy. But by still trying to stay a little bit country, he is making just minivan music that is horrible to listen to. Like that song Soul Food, which is giving Kenny Chesney's Tip of My Tongue a run for its money as the most blatant song about oral sex in the past year. It does not have any soul, it just feels blah. I fully acknowledge that Keith Urban is a great performer and a masterful guitar player, but this ain't it. Florida Georgia Line released a lot of music this year, and some of it, like their Christmas single Lit this year, I actually think was really good.
That Christmas tree ain't the only thing getting lit this year.
I have to mention the piece of misguided Scooter Braun synergy that was their collaboration with Justin Bieber on Yummy.
Yeah, baby.
50-50, love the way you split it. 100 racks, I'ma spend it back.
The main problem with this song was the bass track that they were collaborating on, because Yummy is just not a good song. And from a songwriting standpoint, I do give them credit that their verse brings in some food imagery that makes the word yummy more than just a sex euphemism. But at the same time, you gotta ask yourself, as Justin Bieber is singing about his toes curling as his eyes roll back in this hookup, do you really want to hear Tyler Hubbard rapping about Chick-fil-A and Waffle House
And I've been into waffle fries since our first day.
and saying, I'ma clean your whole plate?
I'ma clean your whole plate. Girl, I'ma lick it up. Woo!
Between that and then the song Beer 30 that Florida Georgia Line released this year,
It's beer 30, and I'm thirsty.
sometimes I'm like, what the hell are y'all doing? Which is why it's so surprising when they put out something like Lit this year that's genuinely funny, fun, and tasteful. They are a confounding and confusing band, and I honestly think that served them well in their decade of fame, but we get some highs and we get some lows. There's a few other songs I could mention on this list, stuff like Shingy's The Woe Down.
It's a roll down, it's a showdown.
And yes, if you're wondering, I am talking about that Chingy.
I like the way you do that right there.
Or even Nico Moon's Good Time,
We just trying to catch a good time.
which just makes me feel like a douchebag when I listen to it. But I really don't want to put too much time into this video or like research stuff that I don't like. I know I said at the beginning that I don't love making worst videos, and part of that is that I think I'm outgrowing hating music. I feel like that is such a rite of passage in your 20s. You gotta say this is good and this is bad, but as you get older, you start to be like, who really cares? So long as there is good music that exists that I can find, it's not as threatening to me that there is bad music. But on the other hand, one of my least favorite things about country music is the expectation that everyone within the industry just support whatever Music Row is putting out. So I didn't want to succumb to that and just be nice. But if it is your first time here, I do make a lot more nice and positive content than I do negative content. So if you are very annoyed with this video and being like, who does this guy think he is? Go check out some of those. And with that said, I am all done with my best and worst videos of the year. Let's bring on 2021. I love you guys. I will see you back with more country content very soon. Goodbye, and that's all.